More than a month after the NEET UG 2024 row erupted over the alleged irregularities in the exam and students took to streets in protests, the three-judge bench of the Supreme Court of India, in a much-awaited hearing, will be conducting a hearing on over 40 petitions demanding cancellation of the NEET UG exam on Monday. Now, the National Testing Agency and the Union Education Ministry have taken a stand against the scrapping of the exam in the Supreme Court of India. The Government of India made its stand on the NEET UG exam official after it filed an affidavit in the Supreme Court on Friday, stating that it would be unwise to scrap the exam in its totality because there is still no proof of large-scale irregularity in this exam. The National Testing Agency too has filed its affidavit along the same lines as that of the Education Ministry. These affidavits have been filed in response to over 40 petitions that have been filed in the Supreme Court of India since June 4th, 2024, the date the NEET UG results were declared. Now, these 40 petitions that we're looking at have been filed by students from across the country who took the NEET UG exam, their parents, coaching institutes, educationists, and public-spirited citizens who are questioning the credibility of the exam after reports of paper leak, irregularities in award of grace marks, cheating, and impersonation emerged. Now, the petitions demand a stay on the counselling process for allotment of medical seats on the basis of the NEET UG results. The Supreme Court monitored investigation into the allegation of the NEET UG paper leak and the re-evaluation and relook at the marks awarded to students. With that, now let's cut across to our legal editor, Mr. Ashok Bagaria, who continues to be with us in the broadcast. Well, Ashok, firstly, we look at four main issues that are to be brought up in front of the Supreme Court in the form of 40 petitions. From your experience, help us understand which among these four stands out to be the most important. Is it the paper leak one? Would you say that?
Well, in fact, if we look at the 40 petitions which have been filed in the Supreme Court, they can be divided into three parts, broadly divided into three parts based on what they are demanding or what they are seeking. So, the first set of petitions are seeking cancellation of the NEET examination. The second set of petitions are demanding that there should be an immediate stay on the counselling process, because the counselling, once the counselling process starts, an interest is created in favor of the students for admissions into a particular college they are allotted. And the third set of petitions are demanding a court-monitored CBI probe. Now, out of this, let's look at the first one about the court-monitored CBI probe. The Government of India on its own has ordered a CBI probe in these alleged irregularities and malpractices that happened during the conduct of the NEET UG 2024 exams. The second thing is the stay on the counselling process. The NTA, in its wisdom, probably the counselling process was to start from Friday. The NTA, in its own wisdom, has put on hold the counselling process. They haven't said that they are doing so because the matter is before the Supreme Court, but in all likelihood, they have done that because the case will be heard by the Supreme Court today. The third and the most important issue here is about the retest or cancellation of the NEET UG examination. Now, here, the petitions are basically largely based on investigations which were conducted by the Bihar police, investigations conducted by Gujarat police, investigations conducted by Jharkhand police and various other states. Now, what had happened was on May 4th, 2024, when the NEET examination was conducted, there were allegations and the whole exam process came under a cloud of suspicion because there were reports that the Bihar police had arrested some people in connection with the NEET UG paper leak. Now, after that, the Government of India and the NTA denied this fact, saying that there was no paper leak. June 4th, the results were announced. Once the results were announced, it kind of opened up a Pandora's box, because what was seen during the declaration of the results was that there were many students, around 1,563 students, who were given grace marks for the loss of time. Now the students protested against the giving of grace marks, because they said that this is changing the rules of the game after the game is played, because when the information bulletin for the NEET examination was released, there was no provision to give grace marks. The NTA does a U-turn, goes to the Supreme Court, says that we are withdrawing our decision to give grace marks, and subsequently the NTA conducted a retest for these students who were given the grace marks. But here, the major issue which still remains is the fact that whether there was a paper leak or not. Interestingly, if you look at the affidavits filed by the NTA and the Government of India, both agencies, that is the NTA which conducts the NEET examination and the Government of India, which is represented by the Education Ministry, they admit to the fact that there were irregularities, there were malpractices, there were cheating, but they say the impact of these malpractices are not so huge that they can vitiate an examination process which was held across 571 cities in the country. And they are saying that if a re-exam is ordered, it will impact the interests of the students who took the exam in complete honesty. So it will be very interesting to see today that what the Supreme Court decides, how it balances the convenience of two sets of students here. Students who took the exam with honesty, and there are students where there is a cloud of suspicion who possibly might have benefited from paper leak.
Absolutely. Ashok, in fact, I'll come back to you right now. We also have Nivriti Mohan joining us from the Supreme Court. Nivriti, a very good morning to you. Very firstly, it's quite early in the day, but we are to witness the hearing only in a short time. If you could just tell us what the situation is like outside the Supreme Court. If you've gotten a chance to speak to the advocates from either sides, what they are saying, what their arguments are for the day, if you could just give us a head start.
Good morning, Shreya. It's around 9:30 a.m. in the morning, so we are still waiting for people to come to the court and tell us about what will transpire, what is expected to transpire in the Supreme Court of India today regarding the NEET paper leak hearings that students have, various students from various different parts of India have filed petitions here. But as soon as the advocates start coming in, and we will definitely go and talk to them and come up with the updates here. Till then, let me tell you that today, as Ashok Bagadia ji has also said, that various petitions are going to be heard in the Supreme Court of India demanding the cancellation of and re-examination of the NEET exams here, and these petitions will be heard by the Supreme Court. A three-judge bench headed by the Chief Justice of India will be hearing all of these petitions here and will be coming up with its observations, and let us see what the Supreme Court has to say on all these petitions. Meanwhile, on Friday, the affidavits have been filed by the union government represented by the Ministry of Education, and also the affidavits have been filed by the National Testing Agency, NTA, and the Bihar government over here. Now, the petitions that have been filed here by the students, as already told to you by Ashok Bagadia ji also, the petitions demand that these examinations should be cancelled and re-examinations should be held. Now, as far as affidavits filed by the center and the NTA are concerned, they are opposing this, opposing the re-examination of NEET re-examination, saying as far as the center is concerned, it is saying that this will disrupt the academic calendar, and there is no widespread evidence of malpractice in the entire country. That is what they have to say, and they have also said in their affidavit that a CBI investigation is already going on in various parts of the country, and also NTA has supported this affidavit by filing its own affidavit saying that this is not going to, if the re-examinations are held and the examination already held is cancelled, then it is not going to yield any big results, it is not going to help, and also the meritorious, it will be the meritorious students who have worked hard to gain a seat through the NEET examination in the medical colleges. Their future prospects will be jeopardized.
Absolutely.
That is what NTA has said, and also Bihar government has also filed an affidavit. Apart from this, also there is a committee that has been formed under the leadership of former ISRO chief Dr. Radhakrishnan,